And we're rolling. Welcome to the Grease Stain Cinema, where we like our popcorn greasy and our movies sleazy. I'm your greasy host, Clint, and I'm joined here for a very special occasion with a very special guest. I have one Ferenc Gregor with me tonight. How's it going, man?
Clint, thanks for having us on, man. We really appreciate it. We're doing great, man. You know, life is always great when I'll admit it.
Yeah. Well, anytime I'm put under the microscope myself and somebody asks, I tell everybody it's great. Everything's wonderful. So I'm glad to hear it. Um, I'm glad you reached out. I actually only talked to you once. I'll put it this way: I um, I was introduced to your work for the first time. When was it? March? Mini Movie Mania in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, at the Waynesboro Theater. Shannon Atkins and some other folks helped put together a movie marathon, so to speak.
Yeah, Matt Burns and
Yeah,
just a whole bunch of people, and the theater, Waynesboro Theater, and the town
yeah,
itself is just yeah, it's a magical place, isn't it? It's just a wonderful, nostalgic place.
yeah. I actually kind of love that place. The indie community introduced me to it because they like to premiere movies there and stuff. And I'm planning on going there this weekend.
Oh,
Probably,
okay.
probably tomorrow. They're doing the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Apparently, it's remastered in 4K or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's like, when's the next opportunity I'm going to get to see it on the big screen? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyhow,
That'd be interesting. Please let me know. Let me know what it looks like, because some of the old horrors and stuff like that, that graininess, that almost VHS, is an integral part of it, the way it's presented. So let me know what it looks like remastered. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
If it looks terrible, I won't say anything. So, yeah. So, I saw, what was it? I saw The Case of the Talking Board,
Mm.
and I saw Dinner with Krampus. Yeah.
That was
Um,
a goofy one. They're all
yeah.
goofy ones. The web series is what I would consider kind of spoopy.
Okay.
Just kind of out there. It's macabre. It's not, hardcore horror. It is, it's on the macabre subject matters and things, and
Right.
we have a lot of fun with those. That is a hybrid build show and storytelling show, the way we describe it. I also work with a team called Man at Arms and Man at Arms Reforged, with their web series, the TV series, and such. And like a lot of build shows per se, those are done very documentary style.
Okay.
Hey, Ference, what are you making? And I'll give you a give you a little explanation, and then show you'll see what I'm working on, and they'll give you some talking heads like History Channel style, show you some history of it, the background. Um, the web series, Things Forsaken web series, Storytime Just Got Real is what we call it.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do the crafting aspect because I'm an artist by trade and an artisan. But we wanted to do short films where when you see that crafting of the talking board, we're literally doing that live when we're shooting that short film. It's not done offset and
Yeah.
brought back in, and then we act like we're making it. You are watching the process live. So we wanted to complicate things by
That's right.
putting the two together and do something a little different. We thought it was fun.
Yeah. It definitely looked real to me. I mean, that would be what I saw in those videos looked difficult to fake. So, um,
Yeah.
so I agree. It definitely displays displays your skills. Um, so I did find those videos interesting. I've watched a few of them. They seem to combine a story with crafting of a specific object. I like the storytelling incorporated with the actual build aspect. There's a lot of detail in those creations.
Yeah, we my main studio called Sobraz Studio, which is
Mhm.
Sobraz is the Hungarian word for sculptor. Primarily a carver is my discipline. It's sculptor, marbles, granites, bones, multi different materials, but
Yeah.
primarily those materials. And so we specialize in very high detail carving works and engraving works.
Yeah. And I'll say that the production value is good. I mean, they seem carefully edited. They look like visually they look very consistent. The soundtracks are cool. Um, I mean, it's a real production. I don't know what it looks like to put one of those together. I mean, about how much time would you say goes into something like that?
With the web series, it varies. Things like the talking board.
Hmm.
I shoot most of the web series stuff. I shoot all myself. I do all my own editing, everything else. Since it is YouTube on a lot of those, there's a lot of subscription music which we can do for YouTube. We try to write and compose and record an original piece for every so many. Krampus was one that had an original piece. Near the end, you hear that it sounds like a takeoff version of that Christmas tune. I can't remember the name of it now. Many Green Men, something like this. you know,
Yeah.
yeah. That's me on guitar and keyboards and everything. So
Oh, okay.
we wrote a different version per se. We took some inspiration from those first couple of notes and carried it through. I like I said, I shoot most of those. Some of the larger ones. Um, Carnival de Glace, and a couple of the other ones that I cannot shoot those at the same time that I'm
Right.
doing what I'm doing on screen and everything else. And we bring in some really great DPs on some of those. Um, I do all my editing on those. It varies. I mean, most of those for me because of everything I have going on and my scheduling, busy family, of course. A lot of
Yeah.
those get piecemealed together. Um, they take anywhere from a week to a month
Oh.
to go from start to on air,
Oh,
roughly.
wow. That's a lot of patience.
It's not a solid 30-day shoot.
Yeah.
I'll shoot a couple of days here. I'll shoot an hour here. And I'll
Yeah.
shoot a couple of hours here. And then we go into post.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just judging from my own experience, I don't think that I have that level of patience. I do one of these shows and I go through and maybe put an hour or two of editing into it. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this thing. It's going out.
Yeah.
um, but it does feel like a marriage of like your personal passions. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I made my contribution. I used to play music for a living many, many years ago. Uh,
Okay.
I made my contribution to the reason some people are glad the 80s are over. Um, there was some great stuff in the 80s.
Yeah.
But music is a passion for me, of course, the art, and that is my livelihood, my business, as an artisan and making film, an actor, wearing a lot of different hats. So the filmmaking and doing this really is, for me, it's an entree. I get to take all the things that I like to use, the mediums, different mediums I like to create in, and be able to combine them into one presentation.
Yeah, it is an interesting concept. I mean, I don't, I don't know that I would have thought to combine all the things that I love into one entity. Um,
Well, the thing for me, the thing about it is I just have this need to create
mhm.
all the time. So it gives me the opportunity to nurture that. The other thing that I tell people sometimes, they're like, "Man, you wear all the hats." It's like, yeah, I wear all the hats I can't afford to pay someone else to wear. There is that.
That's a pretty consistent thing I hear from folks who make their own projects like this. Yeah, and I'm always amazed when I see that. Normally, it's looking at the credits after I've watched something, and it's like the same names over and over and over again. Um,
Yeah, it was funny when we did the premiere at Waynesboro.
oh,
One of the gentlemen that's in He has a really small part in part one. He has a lot larger part in part two that we're in production for. But he plays a major part in working together with me and doing the soundtrack, Sean
Okay.
Sokolowski. And I had to laugh because I'm sitting over here and Sean is sitting with my wife and some other people. And when the credits are rolling, and someone else, actually, one of my DPs, jumped in and helped doing some of the editing. So they did the credit roll. And I can hear Sean going, it's like, Ferenc, Ferenc, Ferenc. My wife is kind of saying this, going Ferenc, 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 like his name is like, and Sean's like, yeah, he never lets anybody help him.
Yeah. Um, so, I mean, how far back does your history of the performing arts go? I mean,
Oh, goodness gracious. Um, to, to really sound funny about it, I mean, when I was a little kid,
uh-huh.
we used to get like a little projector that we had and everything, and
Okay.
dress up as cavemen and make cavemen movies in black and white, and then charge the kids in the neighborhood 10 cents to watch them.
Oh, wow.
So it goes back pretty far, I suppose. Yeah, I have humiliated myself greatly for many, many decades.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I've always enjoyed it. I did theater for a while, community theater.
Okay.
I studied theater and voice in college, for a while. I think the last on stage live production that I was in was, I want to say that was Godspell. I played Jesus in Godspell. So
Oh.
yeah, so you can imagine how long ago that was.
Yeah. Um, well, I have to ask the other question then. At some point in your life, you became interested in fabrication and creating things using different mediums. When did that start?
Oh goodness. Again, I've always loved doing artwork,
Hmm.
creating things, even at a young age. Um, moving more, excuse me, moving more into the carving work, the dimensional carving work, and beginning to do fine art carving and things of that nature. Uh, I I remember finding a moto tool, the Dremel tool.
Gonna take ballistics off a shattered bullet?
Fingerprints.
In
Okay.
my dad's basement,
Yeah.
and he was a big deer hunter, and he had deer antlers. And so I started messing around with those and carving those, and I became very interested in the three-dimensional works, and started doing that a whole lot, to where it got to the point to where when you have a passion, be it a hobby or whatever the path is that they're following on it, there comes a time to where if you're going to keep doing it, it has to be able to support itself.
Right.
So I was able to transition to that, and then years and years later, I decided to make the transition. I need this to support everything, not only being able to do it. Why
Right.
can't this support everything? This is where I want to be. Um, I've worked, I'm pushing 63 in September, and I've worked a lot of different types of jobs, construction jobs, office jobs, all kind of different jobs over my lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, the artwork aspect and the creating aspect is the noodle that always sticks to the back wall of the stove, no matter what else burns on it.
Nice.
So after a while, you just don't deny it anymore. You nurture it, and that's pretty much how I got real solid into it.
That's fantastic. Uh, hey, I'm glad you stuck with it. I mean, not everybody pursues their passion.
I'm unemployable. There's the other half of it. So I have to work for myself.
I gotcha. I gotcha. When you think back through all of your creations, do you have a favorite project that you worked on?
Oh, good, a favorite.
Not everybody does.
I get that question a whole
It's
lot.
like asking what your favorite child is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, my kids won't watch this. Um, I was going to say that music is whatever I'm creating musically. Uh, creating faces of the undead, and being able to create the characters and act them out and create that finished thing to be able to present and to be able to take a look at. Not as much of it as an accomplishment favorite thing, but I just enjoy doing it so much.
Okay.
My clientele, we've seen each other at some of the conventions,
Hmm.
before. So you've seen the presentations we have there. It's very macabre, very
Yeah.
arty, dark, out of the box, and just
Yeah.
you know. Um, my main studio, the Sober House studio, is much more mainstream. My clientele runs. I mean, I've done everything from carve a uh, custom fossil ivory American standard toilet earring for a plumber to I am the carver, and I'm the only person that touches the National Cryptologic Memorial for the Department of Defense.
Oh wow.
So there's a there's quite of an array for me to go like this with. So um,
I
you
get
know,
it.
some of those larger big public things, and I'm honored to work on them. It definitely is.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be able to have the opportunity to do that. It's very things like that are very strict.
Yeah.
Not just because of that particular client, but I that particular memorial I carved the original in '96, and
Okay.
I go out there once or twice a year, inspect it, maintain it. Unfortunately, if necessary, add names to that memorial. But every letter that was originally done in 1996, every letter that I do today will be matched to those old letters with a mic gauge.
Oh
So
wow.
it's a whole different ball game. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole different ball game. There's a zero tolerance for what those works have to be. Um, so it's much different than working on a lot of the stuff that you've seen. It's like somebody can call me up today and go, "Hey, Ferenc, what are you up to today?" And it's like, "Well, I'm packing up to go out to the Department of Defense for an overnight, but right now I've got to hop off the phone because I'm in the middle of making fetus skulls and I got to order more chocolate, more chocolate coffins."
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I do a lot of memorials, private memorials as well
Mhm.
as public memorials, and yeah, it's a different ball game. It's a
Yeah.
different ball game.
I noticed your prescription coffee bug shows up a lot in your shows. Is that
Yeah, I have a reputation for drinking an obnoxious amount of coffee, so it's almost an inside joke anymore.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I figured you were a coffee guy. Is that your favorite mug, or is that just the one you always have?
I'm down to one. I have to order more. I usually order these like two or three at a time because in my world, especially having a stone studio, they don't have a longevity.
Yeah, I imagine that they would break rather easily in an environment like that. How do you like your coffee?
Now I drink black and I drink a lot of espresso and straight black strong.
Yeah.
My it pushing at my age and everything else, I have to watch my cholesterol, so I've come off the creamers. If I ever put creamer in my coffee and sugar and creamer, it's like once a month treat.
Ah, I gotcha. I'm right there with you. I love black coffee. Um, that's the only way I'll have it now. Um,
Strangely enough, it's also kind of an homage to my father. That was the very last thing he had.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Um, you mentioned Carnival de Glace.
Hmm.
Um, I saw behind the scenes on that. I didn't see the actual episode, but I did get the impression that that one was very close to you. Um, that one
Yeah.
involved an aspect of your relationship with your father, didn't it?
Yeah. That one focused on, like I said, we doing the web show. I bring in other artisans as well.
Hmm.
That one we focused primarily on Sean Sokolowski, I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Sean is a very talented glass blower,
Okay.
and he has a glass blowing business. And so, well, you saw the behind the scenes. So we brought his mobile unit in, and we built a carnival. Um, I blew two discs out of my back. You see me walk with a cane. I still
Yeah.
walk with a cane partial time. I blew two discs out of my back the day before that shoot when we were building the carnival. I
Oh
was
man.
carrying around some marble memorial markers that we had to move and set up. And just all of a sudden, I heard it, man. I heard the swish, and my back was just like, dude, 40 some years of this, and blank you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so anyway, yeah. But one of the things that we do, and it's one of the products that we provide, because the web series is really built around, since we are creating physical objects. These are the things that you see at the shows that are available, which fund us being able to do the film work and products from the studio. So with Carnival de Glass, we were one of the products that we do is the memorial ash orbs, where we add a loved one's ashes. And
This way? Awesome. It's looking good to me. What do you think? Those are called the jacks.
Yeah, baby. I got the jack.
Thank you, brother.
create a
Right.
glass with the ashes in, and I did my father's in that.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I just caught that very briefly in that behind the scenes, and it kind of made me want to watch the whole thing.
Dig
So
it. Yeah, if you get a chance, man, check
yeah.
out the episode. It's we
Is it on
brought
your
in
YouTube
other
channel?
people. Excuse me.
Is it on your YouTube channel?
Yes, it's on the Things Forsaken YouTube.
Hmm.
Carnival de Glass. There's the behind the scenes, and then there's the actual episode.
Okay, I'll have to look closer. I missed it. Otherwise, I would have watched it before now. Um, but yeah, so you brought up Creature Feature. That's where I met you. Even though I watched a couple of your things before that, you were a vendor there this last time. Um, and I watched a couple of folks take pictures while they were strapped into your electric chair. That was pretty cool. Was that prop from the Death Skull Pocket Watch episode?
Yes, yeah, that is from our episode, our film called Time's Up.
Okay.
In that one, I play a serial killer. Um, Here's a golden egg for anyone that wants to watch it. The serial killer's name is Horace Caponia. Horace, loose translation from Old Greek, is bringer of death.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in some of the old Greek mythology, Caponia is the Hungarian word for skull.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Horace Caponia, the skull, the bringer of death skull, and so that's the serial killer's name. Um, in the my final 24 hours, they know I did it. I'm convicted. I'm on death row. They're going to fry me, an old thunderbolt. But they still don't get how these watches work, because anybody that gets one of my Father Time's watches, my watches or what have you, well, your time's up. That's how I do it.
Right.
Uh, so they locked me in the tool cage in the bottom of the prison last 24 hours and film me and watch me make one to try to figure out how
Yeah.
these work. And I won't give the rest of the spoilers. The song in that one, Time's Up, is
Okay.
one of our originals. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, my girl Elizabeth Brewster on cello, she's fire. Um,
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, she did all the cello work on that, and then we sit down and we write and compose, and I drive her batty because she plays by sight reading. She doesn't play by ear.
Gotcha.
So what I have to do is write the things, then we sit down so we can get the notes out, and she will literally write it on sheet music, and then so she can put it on stand
Oh.
and play it, and then we'll really dial it in. But I drive her nuts with that stuff.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Trumpets in D.
No, no.
Listen to
No,
me.
I don't understand.
Listen.
Oh, sounds like she's a perfectionist. I like that.
She is very, very talented. Yes.
Yeah. So I did see Faces of the Undead Part 1 in the theater creature feature. That was a pretty cool experience. And I appreciate you letting me watch it again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I had a good time with it again. And it's very, I'll say, artfully done. So I don't want to pick it apart here, but I
Wow,
get the,
no, man. I'm all about hearing,
yeah,
good, bad, or indifferent, what
yeah,
what people's experience with the film is, because that's what it's all about.
yeah. Well, I just mean I feel like maybe if I talk about it too much, I'll give away too much for people who haven't seen it. But I get the impression very strongly that it's about a man struggling between life and death. And I feel like that was kind of like a theme running throughout the whole thing. I mean, we had a very impactful quote at the beginning of it. And then at the very end of it, there it's kind of a dedication at the end for
Yes.
people who live in this particular place where it's neither one nor the other. And I know that your son wrote a song for this movie, which became the theme music of it, and
Yes.
and I feel that that's a very powerful song, and I enjoyed that very much. I felt it fit your film perfectly.
Yeah, we felt so. Again, it was not written for the film,
Right.
and yeah, but I mean, it fit like a glove.
Yeah. And that's your son, Tristan?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Um, did I see that he's only 22?
Yeah, yeah. He just
Yeah.
turned 22, man.
How about
Yes.
that?
Well, this month it's still August, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, he's pretty talented for 22. I don't think I would have been writing anything at that at 22.
Yeah, that was one of those things, and I don't get into talking too much about about personal life type things. But Tristan wrote that in his room one night, and the first time he played it for me, and I played it for my wife, man, we lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't particularly done, I believe, as I want to write a song about this. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
The rest of the whole rest of the soundtrack as well. I wrote all the sound effects. I mean, you saw the credits, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But Sean Sokolowski was a major player in it, and Tristan and I kind of hit some melodies and bare bones, and I wrote a lot of stuff and handed it over to Sean, and Sean took so much of it and really built it into a lot of the background tracks that you hear, and handed it off. I remember handing off once Sean and I had the complete music's done, especially for the jazz numbers,
Yeah.
and handing that off to a very talented gentleman, friend of mine named Daniel Lee, composer, multi-instrumentalist, and just a dynamite trumpet player. My understanding is he played with Santana at some point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, so he's the real deal, and he sent me trumpet tracks, lead trumpet tracks back an hour later, and I'm like, oh my god, hand me a towel.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that the different variations of the melody of your son's song.
Yeah, in the end, we actually do. When I'm walking off, and you see just from that low level the boots walking off, and you hear that theme again. That is Tristan's song "Evermore," but done in a jazz version.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I thought that was a nice touch.
yeah, the film is built very much about the struggles of mental illness and mental
Yeah,
health struggles of people that live in between. The character I portray that gets turned into the necromancer cannot define reality from illusion. And in the club, when Dr. Asher, played by Robert Dean, comes in
Residue here is 100 layers thin.
and starts telling some of the history of the club, it begins to trigger him.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it a couple of times, so you notice a lot of the characters play dual roles in this film, and
I
that is
did.
very, very integral to what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I was picking up on that. Like seeing it a second time, I was noticing things that I didn't notice before. This feels like a movie that you get more out of it with multiple views.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely is. There's a lot of subtleties. There's a lot of intertwined aspects to it in the dialogue, in who's doing what. Um,
yeah,
I could give you I could give you a basket of golden eggs right now. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, you will notice things. Chloe Stewart, what a treasure, who plays both the bartender and also plays Vera.
yes,
Dr. Asher, played by Robert Dean.
Welcome to the casket coffin, monsieur.
Jessie Gill playing Lady Desiree, and also another role, I won't say it, which is
yeah,
which is at a really great cast of people.
yeah.
Rivka Brick, who played Madame Esmeralda, first day with my new lips,
Yeah.
Madame Esmeralda,
Tina Erkel, ni pace lembrar masko.
and Jasmine Elkoga, Kyrie Stinson, and the old gentleman that has a bit part in there, Joe Cardellano. All the characters actually are very strongly representational to the character I play's life,
Okay.
of who they are, what the reason those particular kind of characters are even in there,
Okay.
and what's going on. And when we move into part two, it will really start to. It's going to be, if you thought at all that this was a wild ride, wait till you see part two. Well, you saw the teaser at the end,
I did.
just to
I
give
did.
just to give you a little inkling. It really starts getting out there, but it explains a lot more.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I I just found the whole thing interesting, and I had difficulty following it because it felt like with the I don't know. I don't want to put things out that aren't really meant to be part of it. But
Go for it.
I like the fact that it seemed like it was set in a place very similar to New Orleans.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, it
and
was set in New Orleans. Yeah.
okay, and I mean, you had the French accents, you had the jazz. There was something else that I was going to bring up that I forgot. Um, um, and like I said about noticing things on a second or well, maybe third view, there like you've got like all these like pop-ups of things that are happening, like just put in there like a almost like a subliminal message. But these
Mhm.
are all things that are actually in the background of the set, like the death masks and the you had the picture of the one character off to the side, which I didn't notice before, but she's in the film.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Lady Desiree up on the wall, and
Mhm.
yeah, if you notice behind the bar, there's a face in that jar.
Yes,
Yes,
I do
if
recall that.
if you notice, and I'll give you a golden egg because this is an integral part of these goings on, and it gets mentioned quite a lot. The very first opening scene where you see the waiter come in and he leans over, and my character and him do a double take of each other, like a familiar double take.
Okay.
You watch that real close, you'll see that scar on that man's right around here, and that's his
Okay.
face in that jar.
Nice. I didn't catch that. Nice. And I did notice that there was some like like subtle nods. Like this is what kept me from thinking that this was all like actually happening. Like that scene almost felt like a hallucination, or almost like I don't want to say like purgatory, but it seemed like a place where a whole bunch of people from a different time, were congregating in one place, and they didn't necessarily belong together in any other regard than they shared something in common. And I found it very interesting that you sat at the bar with the doctor, and you were both drinking out of beakers. And I felt that was a nod to your relationship to each other that we saw in a different scene.
Yeah, it's you're picking up on a lot of cool subtleties. There is part of the intention that part of the reason it's a multiple watch. I describe it to people as kind of like a 2-lane road that all go to the same place. You watch
Okay.
it in the right hand lane, and hopefully you have an entertaining horror movie that keeps your attention
Yeah.
and whatnot, has some visuals, is done well, what have you. Then you watch it in the left lane, and you really start paying attention to the dialogue, to the characters, what they're doing, what they're saying, what these different visuals and what their representations stand for in the storyline. And it is somewhat confusing, and it is somewhat disconnected. And that is extremely intentional because we want to hopefully place the viewer in a similar place of the character I portray, because he can't tell the difference either. Is it real? Is it not? Did this actually happen? Or is it in his head? And we tug a war back and forth with that. And hopefully the viewer is in a similar place.
Yeah.
That's a hard line to walk because you confuse somebody too much and they just want to walk away. But if you can keep them on that string and keep feeding them both ends of it, then you keep their attention. And what happens is it becomes intriguing and they become inquisitive. And
Yes.
and hopefully that's that's what we've been able to produce.
That was kind of my experience with it. I mean, the more I dove into it and started identifying things, the more interested I became with it. So I think it's successful in that regard.
Dig it, great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I feel on a regular basis I'm a little slow to grasp some of these things, but that's a personal thing. But like I said, it was starting to make a little bit more sense after watching it more than once. I did feel like some of the characters almost seemed like they were tied to the location, like somehow they weren't able to leave it. But I don't know if that was intended or not.
The history of the club, and that does tie into somewhat when you look at some of the not particularly parallel stories, but you look at Vera, her character, her story. You look at the other ladies in the brothel, and Lady Desiree, who owned the entire club, which had the morgue, had the brothel in it as well. And you look at those characters, and you see what happens to Vera from her brothel mates per se. Right
Yes.
near the end before she gets cast out. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, they are, I don't consider it a purgatory, but they in of themselves are undead, and they are there. There's standard lore to the things. And many people have touched on that in many big things. When someone becomes vampire, uh, that's it. They don't grow old. They stay
Right.
just the way they were when they were turned. Things of that nature. So there's some standard things in there with it. Um, as far as that goes, there's some really underlying strange stuff with Faces of the Undead, concept wise. Um, the whole thing about what happens with the and I'm trying not to give too much away for those who have not seen it.
Yeah.
Let me think how to phrase. Vera's brothel mates. What they do, what they do to her near the end when she's cast out. What the necromancer actually does to her, in their last interaction, and it's a really I'm just going to go ahead and put it plainly. It's a really twisted way, a twisted idea of the therapeutic value of one helping another.
Okay.
Because we are showing her that death is not the answer.
Okay.
It's a really strange twist to present something like that way. But she was done. She wanted to die. She even says it. So the fact that they were showing her death is not the answer, even after their interaction with the other girls in the brothel, you see she's cast out. Now she's like, when she interacts with me, and I'll give a couple golden eggs with this one. When the bartender first sees the necromancer at the bar and her dialogue with him, she asks him, "Are you here for business or pleasure? I know you. You're staying in the parlor, in the room by the parlor."
Okay.
If you hear the dialogue at the end when after she is turned and she tries to lure people in, the ever talented Christopher Inlow and of course the wonderful Nancy Ann Ritter, who played that couple that entered with Vera before I do. But you hear her say it again.
Mm-hmm.
She says it to me when the necromancer comes up to her in the street.
Yeah.
And she also, when she realizes who I am, who the necromancer is, she even says it to him again. I know you. And so it's the familiarity of somebody that knows how you feel. I've been there. We've been there. We're doing this. This is where we're at. And we see it happening to you. And so we're going to try to carry this message that no, death is not the answer. I have lost loved ones that listen to that voice.
Right.
It's a really twisted way of conveying that. But we wanted to try to do a lot of things for Faces of the Undead as a horror movie, approaching this subject that people haven't done before, because so many things get done over and over and over, just situationally and character different, but the methods, the techniques that messages like that are conveyed are still the same.
Right. Right.
A lot of it is just overdone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does feel like a labor of love. I mean, the way you're talking about it and how like personal experiences and people that you've known in the past play into your creation of this. I could definitely see that now. My final thoughts on it are, to me, it felt like it blurred time and reality, and it has strong imagery. It gives you a variety of emotions to feel while you're watching it. I found it to have an interesting story. You even managed to slip a couple of jokes in there, which I thought was kind of cool.
You got to have a little bit, just a touch of comic relief in there,
Yeah, even if it was just a play on words. Oh, your table is ready.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that one.
Yeah. The body suspension was something else.
And make no mistake, those scraps are why I'm here.
That felt pretty real.
Um, that was a long day. Yeah, it was. That was not special effects.
No, it didn't
No,
look like it.
that was not. And whenever that comes up, I try to make it really well known that because Faces of the Undead, we have voodoo, we have vampires, we have this, we have that. So there are some cultural inspirations through, from historical accounts or lore. The entire transformation of the necromancer and the hooks and the strings, all that stuff. Um, None of that was inspired by any cultures, ceremonies, or things like that. Piercing's been done by so many different cultures across the globe for thousands of years. Modern day alternative cultures, do these things. Necromancy has been practiced and is still practiced to this day under many different names by many different types of humans. Um, Necromancy itself is putting a foot in the other world of the dead to commune. Um, you can find a lot of parallels to that under many names. Um, but yeah, that was not special effects. And it was a long day. It was a pretty intense day. But what we wanted to do is really convey the control that Lady Desiree has over him because she's got him literally on a string,
Right.
you know, and using the hooks was a different way to do it. The visuals in that are very primal. So, for the most part, things that people are exposed to uh, and have the ability to be exposed to, it's going to be somewhat familiar to specific things. And
Yeah.
that's natural. But I can tell you, one has absolutely nothing to do with the other whatsoever, nor was inspired by any particular thing. We wanted to do something different. Um, and that is closer to an actual necromancer ceremony than anything else.
How long did it take to make this?
um, Actually, leading into that, the necromancer transformation and those piercing scenes were the very first thing we shot.
Oh wow.
Yep, of anything else in the entire production, and roughly give or take a week or so, a week or a few days, 9 months from the first shoot to ready to air on screen.
9 months.
So 9 months. So in all intents and purposes, it moved pretty quick.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. Did you have much of a budget?
Uh, we do have a crowdfunder.
Okay.
Um, Thank you to everyone who was your kindness and your ability to donate. We dearly appreciate it. However, I'm primarily self-funding the entire production. What we've done so far on the crowdfunder um, has helped out somewhat, but the budget for this for part one, I think, because I think it's even public information on IMDb,
Mm,
roughly between 10 and 13.
okay.
And of course, with that, a lot of that goes into all the expenses: cast, crew, equipment, locations, everything involved, that you have on a production. But then again, I do all of my own props and special effects as well. So, things like having to create the heads, Vera's, Chloe Stewart's reproduction head, Sean's face, things of that nature. We can create certain things. The chest plate for when Dr. Asher cuts open the cadaver's chest.
Yeah.
things like that. So, there's a lot goes into that. It's not cheap material wise
No.
to for that stuff to be able to create those things, but there's some leftovers.
Okay.
So hopefully we have, some we have a little jump on some of the stuff for part two in certain ways, but that's
Okay.
roughly about the budget between 10 and 13. Um, I would have to start flipping through papers more than you just did to actually get straight numbers, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not. It's I think in the industry we would actually be considered no budget for that amount.
Right. Right.
Which I'm not sure how that works. The
Uh,
word "no" didn't come into it for me. Um,
of course.
I mean that includes everything, the soundtracks, everything else. So it is a less than what we would consider micro budget film.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Um, so this was, of course, part one, and you are basically getting elbow deep into part two. I guess now. How many parts do you think you'll have to this?
We've gone through some changes. Originally we were going to do 3-part anthology,
Okay.
and I decided to take what we had because we had about a good 12 minutes in the can for part two and part three.
Okay.
And went through a lot of business decision as well as primarily creative decisions, really, to bring both of those into one and have a 2-part anthology, which is seems really strange from a creative aspect because what we have, and you saw the teaser, you see there's a small section where you see these people dressed up like these weird crows,
Yeah.
like a council of crows, and that's exactly what they are. You see that, and then you see these headhunters.
Mhm.
And I put this out there because the teaser's already out there publicly,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
and the necro sled, the motorcycle. So
Yes.
it's like, and then you see the medical aspect, into it, and you go, what in God's name does these have to do with each other? You know, um,
Right.
here's one of the creative reasons. I have a chronic eye conditions, which are really really bad, and one of the treatments that my specialists have put me on. There's two names for it. One is called serum tears. The other is literally called blood tears.
Oh.
So they make specialized eye drops for me out of my own blood.
Okay. I've never heard
Right?
of that. Yeah.
It's been around a long time. I'd never heard of it either, but I can tell you what, the moment my doctor explained that to me, the process, what they do, and that they make my eye drops out of my own blood, I was just like, you just handed me the golden ticket to go anywhere I want to go, because what would I see if this happened to that process?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the big creative things. We decided to pull those two things into part two, because part two, and it's open information on the crowdfunder. There is it has a synopsis for part two, where part two picks up where the character I play is now in a facility,
Okay.
and there's people trying to help him. And one of the things that it says is, it begs the question: are the treatments helping him, or are they contributing to his condition?
Gotcha.
So things get kicked up a big notch as far as that goes. And yeah, that's why in the teaser, giving away a little bit in the teaser, that's why you see everything with the eye and the bleeding eye and the eye drops and peekaboo.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Well, I'll probably include the trailer in this, and
Oh, dig it.
some of the things we talk about. I'll probably put links into the description of this video. I'd love a link to your crowdfunder if that's live.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's interesting, and I just was telling someone else this the other night. A good halfway through the production of shooting Faces of the Undead, uh, quite a few of the cast members told me, people ask me what the movie's about, and I tell them I don't really know. And that was very intentional
Yeah.
because I wanted to keep people in the moment,
Hmm.
not thinking about, well, I need to be this way now or present it this way or deliver it that way because further down the line.
Right.
I didn't want that. I wanted people to stay in the moment, but I also wanted that genuine confusion in them. When you see Chloe Stewart, who played Vera and the bartender, and you see her at one point looking at me at the bar, and she's going like this, she's like, what, like, what's wrong with you? That wasn't an acted take. I did something at some point when actually Dr. Asher was delivering lines, and she wasn't particularly needing to be on camera for me. Uh, and she looked at me like, are you okay? So I wanted that natural confusion in the cast because that's where my character was. If you notice, we do only refer to the character I portray as the Necromancer. He doesn't have a name.
Right.
We never refer to him by name. Everyone else has their name referred to at some point through the film, except for my character.
Right.
That's extremely intentional as well. I don't want to attach anything to this character that would separate the fact that none of us are immune to this, to suffering from this stuff. So I didn't want to give anything that gave it specific causations.
Right. Wow. That's something. I like that. I did want to bring up something else that we kind of talked about briefly off mic, and you called it the dead sled. The
The Necro Sled, yeah.
yeah, necro sled, yeah. Um, that is a very interesting looking bike. It looks, I don't know what it is, but it looks very vintage with that sidecar and kind of like a World War II bomber paint job on it. I mean, what what can you tell me about that? How long you had that?
I've had that thing for, I don't know, a couple of years, 2.5 years or so.
Okay.
I've always kind of liked them.
Mhm.
Always been intrigued by them. In my younger days, I used to ride on the street. I used to ride pro motocross when I was
Okay.
younger, and I hadn't ridden a motorcycle in literally 40 some years. And I finally decided, I want to get a bike. I didn't have a midlife crisis. I'm too old for that. I had that earlier.
Okay.
So that's not the reason. But I was looking at another motorcycle that a gentleman had, and he literally had just sold it a couple hours before I contacted him. And he had this one. It's an old Royal Enfield British military.
Okay.
It's one of the last iron barrel 500 bullets.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, I said, you want to sell that? You want to sell the bullet, the military? And he's like, no, I thought about it, if the price is right. And so we talked about it, and I ended up buying it and everything, and done a lot of work to it over the past couple of years or so. Literally, I was out riding today when I messaged you.
Okay.
You were on for tonight. I just got back.
Okay.
Yeah, I took her out for a scoot, but it's actually a 2007. It's
What?
yeah. Royal Enfield British military, the Royal Enfield British military bullet, they continued to build those all the way up until, I don't know, like 2014, 15, something like that. I mean, they changed and made modern, changes to a bunch of them. Um, and it's really neat because they really didn't change much at all since W2 on these things.
Yeah.
And then they really didn't change much since W2.
You
Yeah,
say the ride's a little stiff?
it's a trade-off. I still have drum brakes on this puppy, man.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's a trade-off. It definitely is. But it's an adventure. And so this is the Necro sled that we'll be using. We've already got, as you see in the little teaser,
Yeah.
we'll be shooting a lot more with it.
Okay. Just stay still now.
Right now for part two, we're still nailing down certain locations, herding cats, as I put it, scheduling, getting things and people and everything into the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Necro sled. It's my old Royal Enfield British military. I have a love-hate relationship with it.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, but it's pretty nifty, and we will be bringing it out to Fright Reads Book Festival 5, September 13th and 14th. We'll be doing in costume, like you see in the teaser, in costume photo ops with the Necromancer in costume like that. Partial proceeds are going to go to help benefit suicide prevention charity.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask if you had any upcoming events. So, Fright Raids over, you said September 13th, 14th?
September 13th, 14th.
Okay.
Fright Reads Book Festival 5, and it's much more than a book festival. There's going to be tons of wonderful authors, some celebrities, lots of vendors. There's going to be a rock show. There will be a film festival. Part one of Faces will be showing, along with a bunch of other films. It would just be Blood and Breakfast will be showing.
Nice.
Seen that one? Yeah.
I
Matt
have.
Burns and those guys. Yeah,
I
Blood
have
and
a copy of it.
showing some other ones. Yeah, dig it.
Yeah.
So it's always a fun. Harry Carpenter, wonderful author, and who puts on the event and everything. It's going to be a great gig. The weekend after that, which will be September like 26 to 28, I think 25th to 28. We will be in Williamsburg for Killer Pride. If you've run into the Scares That Care outfit, wonderful people, Scares That Care conventions, everything. They are a wonderful charity as well, and they are starting one called Killer Pride, which is in Williamsburg. I believe it'll be their first year there, and we will be there at that one too. We won't have the Necro sled, but we'll be set up with everything else. At Fright Reads, we will have the DVDs and the Blu-rays of Faces Part 1, special editions with cast interviews, behind the scenes footage, commentaries, all that. We'll be doing signings. Actually, most of the cast will be there Saturday. I've been in touch with a bunch of the cast, so We'll have a
Okay.
lot of the cast members there for photo ops and signings, meet and greets, and everything else. So come on out to Fright Reads. Tell Harry I said hi.
Yeah. Um, and I meant to ask that too. What are your plans for the film? Are you self-distributing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. Right now, we are self-distributing. I just finished up doing all the interview footage and what have you, and the cover arts for the discs. And I work with a local business. I didn't send it off way
Okay.
out there. I like to try to work with the smaller local mom and pop type businesses if I can.
Yeah.
And Carpel Video out of Frederick, Maryland. Give them a plug. They're
Nice.
doing all the discs for me and everything. And yeah, we will have those in hand, and we're self-distributing. We'll be putting them up on the net. A lot of people are asking if we're going to go to streaming services. Like I said, when part two comes out, we may go to streaming services after that. Right now, it's the discs. We want to meet you in person at events.
Yeah.
Contact us. Get the discs. You can buy them online once we have them in hand. We've done some pre-sales, but we'll be posting those up on our websites and things of that nature. They're in the perks for the crowdfunder. They're already up there, and we're happy to do signed copies and talk to people. And things like what you're doing here, Clint. We
Yeah.
dearly appreciate, because this is how people get to get the introduction to us and what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's completely my intention. I started watching low budget independent films like just a couple short years ago and kind of fell in love with it. So like um, short films, full features, it doesn't matter. And not enough people are talking about it is what I'm trying to say. So
It's there's a weird thing. You get into some of the groups and in the different social media platforms and thing, and people are like, well, how do I get started out? I want to make a film, of course, independent film, if you're just starting out.
mhm.
Uh, and you hear so many times, just do it. Your first film is going to suck. It's going to be terrible and this, but just keep doing it. And it's like, I don't think it has to be that way. I
No,
really don't. I don't think your first effort has to be awful. Why?
right.
Why is that? Um, I personally, and of course, it's my creation and thing, but I don't think I think Face of the Undead, from the reviews that we have gotten from the people that have seen it, um, I'm quite happy with the reviews of our first feature film.
Yeah, yeah. You should be.
Thank you.
I'll recommend it. So I definitely want to include your crowdfunder, places where people can follow what you're doing. What is the best way to keep connected with what you have going on?
We have the Facebook pages, Faces of the Undead. We didn't create a set website. The crowdfunder is great because we're doing the updates, new trailers, things of that nature. You can contact us through there. Um, Faces of the Undead on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Every other thing I could get my kids to teach me how to use. Um, Emily Janona is taking care of the publicist end of that, and she pretty much takes care of all that kind of stuff on the different platforms. And that's the best way to get a hold of us. You can look me up on Facebook, uh, send me friend requests, things like I'm pretty great with that. If you're gonna send me a friend request, tell me who you are and why, because that's my personal page. And
Right.
be careful what you sign up for. uh, yeah, we also have Things Forsaken page on Facebook, all the other platforms as well, and Faces of the Undead being something that comes from Things Forsaken. They're all connected. So yeah, contact us through there.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Um, Did I miss anything that you wanted to plug or bring up?
No. I appreciate it, man. I think we're good. Freight Reads. Harry will be happy we mentioned him. Killer Pride. Killer Pride is an LGBTQ themed horror convention.
Wow.
Yeah. Scares that care are all inclusive. They're about helping people, period.
Yeah.
And so that should be a really fun show. We will also be at the World Oddities Expo in October in Baltimore. I believe that'll be at the convention center. We do that one every year. If you've never been to that, dude, you have two choices: leave all your money to where you don't even know where it is, and just walk around in awe, or take your risks by bringing your wallet.
I gotcha. I do like an oddity.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, we love that show.
Yeah.
So we usually do that. I believe that is our last event, vending event for the year of 2025. We did a lot of vending events this year. Creature feature, horror on Main. The rest, the other ones we have coming up, and we've done a few other ones. But I have the studio to run as well. So, there's a lot of that mainstream work that, I need to be able to sink into. And I'm trying to keep myself relatively freed up as well for production. Hopefully we want to wrap up part 2 and the anthology before end of the year. And at risk of a divorce, I have another film I've already begin to want to sink my mental teeth into.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, Ferenc, I want to thank you very much for coming on here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, spending a little time with me and answering my silly questions.
Oh, dude, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, and thank you for giving me something to talk about. And I just want to say on my way out of here, you don't need a big budget to make a badass movie. And cut.